Welcome to the show, guys. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor, got a super exciting episode here for you. We are talking about the top 10 fantasy football sleepers for 2024. This is going to be a huge episode. Now, there are a ton of sleepers, and it was so tough getting it to the list of these 10 guys. Some of these guys are going to absolutely boom. And literally, guys, these are great value players you can get in your drafts for an amazing deal and tear up your league. I mean, everybody's sleeping on these guys. Now, some of these names are a little more well-known. People know about them, but they're still going for immense value. I cannot express enough to you how important it is to target these guys on your fantasy football rosters. I'm super excited to dive in. I love talking sleepers. I love putting together top 10 lists. If you guys love fantasy football, if you're passionate about fantasy football, if you got a line mentality, if you're really sick of copy and paste rankings and you really want to level up your fantasy football game and want to dominate your leagues and embarrass your sheep league mates, this is the channel for you. Everybody's doing cookie cutter BS rankings. It's not going to help you guys win your league. So if you guys want to actually win your leagues and dominate your leagues every year, grab the 16-round draft, which is going to help you guys crush your leagues. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players draft each draft. I've linked it below, guys. Use code SMASH to save. I cannot express to you how important it is to get 16 rounds because it literally leapfrogs you ahead of everybody in your leagues. You get all the optimal players drafted each round, avoiding all the guys that are going to bust. Last year, I told you to avoid Austin Eckler as a top 3 pick. I told you to avoid Tony Pollard. He wasn't a true RB1. I explained this. I told you to avoid Mike Williams round 5, J.K. Dobbins round 4, Dalvin Cook round 5, and on and on and on and on. Okay, guys? So if you want to be T. Higgins round 2 is another one. If you want to be light years ahead of the sheep, grab 60 rounds. I've linked it below. And smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. I want to make this interactive. Give me a sleeper that you absolutely love for this year. Drop it below. Love to get your feedback on which sleeper you guys love. All right, let's dive into this. Let's talk about this. Let's get into these top 10 sleepers. Again, drop a comment below and hit the thumbs up. The first sleeper I absolutely love, okay, guys? I mean, like, absolutely love is Zamir White. Now, I ended up doing a 2K buy-in league. This was a guy I had to have in my leagues, okay? We're talking a guy, RB23. Well, Joey's not a sleeper. Yes, he is, because he's got top 10 upside, and he's in a workhorse. He's a workhorse. Guys, we are in a league right now, the NFL that is, where we're watching, we're playing fantasy, where literally, guys, I'm telling you, running backs are harder to come by that aren't in a committee. Now, you could say, well, Zamir White's in a committee with Madison. Well, I'll tell you right now, Madison sucks. He's one of the worst running backs in the league. Had an opportunity to shine last year. What do you have, like 3.5, 3.7 yards per carry, something stupid like that. Madison sucks. But he's the perfect guy to have in this offense that's going to be there for depth, but he lacks the upside, which means Zamir White's going to eat. Let's talk about his numbers here, okay? First of all, Zamir White, RB23, 76 overall on the sheep rankings, okay? Rounds 5 to 6 if you want him. And it depends on where you're drafting. You got to get him round 5 because he's not going to come back. Now, I drafted at the end. I did a draft yesterday, $350 buy-in. I drafted 10th. So, and if you guys want to see my drafts and how my rosters look, grab 16 rounds because I actually do mock drafts with you in 16-round draft solution. So I'm literally in the 4th, 5th turn, and I had to take him coming back around on the 5th because there's no way he was going to swing back 20 some odd picks later. He just wasn't going to do it. So I grabbed Zamir White round 5, and I'm very happy with that pick because he's a workhorse running back. 233 targets are freed up with Jacobs being gone. And listen to this, week 16, 22 attempts, week 17, 20 attempts, week 18, 25 attempts. He had over 60 attempts in 3 games. The guy last year, 4.3 yards per carry, and he didn't really get going till the end of the season. I think this was a real trial phase for the Raiders, trying him out, getting a feel for him before they departed with Josh Jacobs. They realized they've got themselves a beast in a running back who was a 4th-round pick in 2022. So they believe in him. He literally came out of this NFL draft in 2024 untouched. Like, he's the man there, and that's what I love. And you get him. He's my RB3 on all my rosters, and he's got top 10 upside. He's being slept on, man. He's just the bottom line. He is amazing talent. Absolutely love him, okay? Number 2 here, another guy I absolutely love who's coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit. We're actually doing a virtual summit. I want all of you guys to attend. The reason I created a virtual summit is because when I was a fantasy fan, I'm like, how cool would it be to have an opportunity to hang out with NFL athletes, have a chance to ask them questions, okay? How cool would that be? And I'm like, why don't I just create it? So I've gotten together Tajay Spears, Pat Fryermuth, Kyron Williams, Trey Benson, Frank Gore Jr., son of Frank Gore, right? Rashid Shaheed. And I'm going to be there, the bald guy, Jimmy. It's going to be amazing, guys. So I created this, and Tajay Spears, who's my number 2 guy here, is going to be at the summit. And I love this guy. Okay, let's talk about him, all right? Let's talk about RB30, coming off round 7 to 8. Again, you're going to have to get him on that 7-8 turn because he's not coming back. He's sitting at a round 8 pick. Again, that's crazy. 280 targets have been freed up with Derrick Henry gone. This guy was a 3rd round pick drafted to replace Derrick Henry. All right. This is huge. Now, last year, only 100 attempts, a couple touchdowns, looked good when he touched the ball. Okay. 4.5 yards per carry. Now, this year, in comes Tony Pollard, who is a failed RB1, similar to what happened with Zamir White. These guys had their chance. The upside guys are Tajay Spears. The upside guy is Zamir White. The problem is the sheep are making you believe that Pollard is the one, the same way they made you believe he was a 1st-round pick last year. Stick with me here, okay? Now, is there a chance that this could be a 50-50 split with Pollard and Tajay? There is a chance. Of course, anything can happen, okay? I don't have a crystal ball here, but I can tell you that the probability of Spears being the one and having it a 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, whatever split you want to talk about, is higher in the favor of Tajay Spears, simply because Pollard was a 2019 4th-round pick by the Cowboys, and Spears was a last year pick, or, going into a 2nd year, 3rd-round pick by the Titans. So he was there to replace Derrick Henry, okay? And he was behind Derrick Henry, and he already knows the offense. He's already on the team, and he's a better player. So you've got all these things in favor of Spears. And the cool thing is the sheep are actually ranking Pollard ahead of Spears. It's like they don't want to admit they were wrong last year, okay? And I told you to avoid Pollard last year. He sucks. Pollard absolutely sucks, all right? Trash. And he's 84th overall, Pollard, right now on the rankings, coming off a round or 2 earlier than Spears. Spears is a 101 overall. Give me Spears all day. He's a must-have and a big-time sleeper with massive upside. He's Derrick Henry's replacement. I don't know how else to tell you, okay? Now, there is a knee issue. He doesn't have an ACL, and his knees had some issues before, and he's got some arthritis, but it hasn't bothered him. We're going to talk to him. He's going to be on the show next month. We're going to talk to Tajay Spears, and if you haven't got a ticket to the summit, grab a ticket to the summit. You can combo it with the 16-round draft solution. Guys, you're going to be very, very happy, okay? All right, next guy here, I absolutely love, and he's due for a major bounce back, all right? This is amazing. I actually ended up getting him as my 2nd quarterback. I think it was round 11 or 12 yesterday in this $350 buy-in league. I mean, you're looking at a guy like, we're talking Justin Herbert here, 95 overall, average ADP round 7 to 8, and he's falling, especially in 1 quarterback leagues. I find that he's definitely falling because, like, when you look at the rankings, so many quarterbacks are coming off ahead of him. Finished 17th last year, only 20 touchdowns, 3,134 yards. This was a down year for Justin Herbert, guys. It was a down year for the Chargers. He's going to come back with a vengeance this year. He's finally got some weapons there. I always didn't like Keenan Allen. I always thought Keenan Allen sucked. Mike Williams, so many injuries to that offense last year, but they were never really great receivers to begin with. Keenan Allen's like 100 years old, missed the last 3 weeks of your fantasy football playoffs. All you guys sticking up for Keenan Allen, I told you to avoid that guy. He missed your fantasy football playoffs, the most important 3 weeks of your league. He wasn't there. He was injured, which I said he would be. And I called it at the beginning of the year that Mike Williams would be hurt. He was gone as well. The only thing that didn't happen is Quentin Johnson, getting going. So listen, Justin Herbert has got Ladd McConkey this year. I still think they need work at running back, which we'll talk about in a second here in this video. But, Justin Herbert, man, if you go back to his 2021 year, amazing. 38 touchdown year, 5,014 yards passing. That's a Justin Herbert we need to get back. Are we going to get a 2021 Justin Herbert? Not necessarily, but you're going to get a quarterback that's got top 10 upside. He's a great talent, man. Justin Herbert is going to bounce back, and he's completely undervalued at the quarterback position. Can he be your starter? Sure, absolutely. Can he be your backup? Sure. If you want to feel more warm and fuzzy and get a Josh Allen, in the early part of your draft, or CJ Stroud, and then you get yourself a Herbert later, that's great. You get a backup. You get a guy that's going to cover your bye weeks, cover potential injury, and cover any lack of performance from your potential starter, if any, okay? So Justin Herbert completely being slept on. Look for a bounce back year. Love, love, love him. Which rolls into my fourth sleeper. Number 4 here. I've got this guy on all my rosters. I'm all in. Something just drew me to him. I was in a 2K buy-in league. I did the draft, I think the beginning of June. I think it was June 4th or something like that. I'm in the draft, and I had my eye on this guy, and then I started doing more research during the draft. It was a slow draft. It was like a 2-hour slow draft timer. So in between picks, I was looking at ADPs, and I knew about Ladd McConkey, and I had him in my 16 rounds. I did some research, but I started diving more into him. Now, his stats weren't amazing in college. Like, they just weren't. So don't get excited about his stats, all right? That's not what I was really attracted to about him. He's 6 foot 185. He was a second-round pick. So let's talk about the pluses here. First of all, let's get the negative out. His stats in college weren't phenomenal, okay? Here's the positives about him. Number 1, it was a second-round pick, okay, by his team. So high draft capital by his team. Well, you can say, well, Joe, Quentin Johnston was a first-round pick. Nothing happened. Well, Quentin Johnston dropped the ball, literally. So Ladd McConkey comes in, and understand, guys, there is a ton of void targets right now. There's no Keenan Allen. There's like 150, 60 freed up targets just with Keenan Allen hitting the road, which is good riddance. Mike Williams is gone. So boom, right off the bat. You're like, okay, great. Austin Eckler was a PPR monster. That's all he did is catch the ball in the backfield. So Herbert is used to those checkdowns, those short passes. Guess who's going to get all those? It's Ladd McConkey. It's definitely not Gus Bus. So Gus Edwards is there. J.K. Dobbs, we'll get to a second about another sleeper in a second. But Ladd McConkey, second-round pick, a ton of volume. I'm already hearing out of training camp. He absolutely looks amazing. His route running is smooth. The guy can pretty much run. He can play the slot, but he can play the outside receiver position as well if needed. Dude, this guy is shifty. He's slick. And again, Justin Herbert, they always talk their players up. And I get it, right? Like, I'm going to talk my guy up, but he's already saying that he's looking like a veteran. So this is really, really good stuff. Wide receiver 48, 113 overall, and you're getting Justin Herbert's wide receiver 1. Now, is there a chance that Quentin Johnston emerges? Yeah. I mean, there's always a chance. Is there a chance that Josh Palmer steps up as the 1? Very unlikely. Palmer sucks. He's a backup guy. He had a chance to really shine last year. He never did. He's a complimentary guy. You know, he's a good 2B, like 3 kind of guy. Like, he's just not a good player. Not outstanding anyway, not ultra elite. And Brandon Rice, son of Jerry Rice, was drafted in the 7th round. Is there a threat that he could be the guy? I mean, there's a reason they got him in the 7th round now that he's on the team. I don't know. I doubt it. I really believe they believe in McConkey. So when I'm in the 6-7 turn and a 12 person 1 point PPR league, I'm like, dude, even in a standard league, I don't care. I'm like, McConkey, like, why not? All over it, dude. Like, it's Justin Herbert's number 1 target in a bounce back year. Herbert's coming off his worst year ever. It's not going to happen again. So Ladd McConkey, sign me up. Great value. And you're saying, well, Joe, we all know who Ladd McConkey is. He's not being slept on. Dude, you guys are drafting, not you guys, but the sheep are drafting Nico Collins, Diggs, and Dell in rounds 2, 3, and 4 right after each other. Ayuk and Debo are coming off round 3, 2, and 3. All right? You guys are drafting DJ Moore round 2 and 3. When there's like so much target dilution there where you got like 3 wide receiver 1s. When I can get Justin Herbert's 1 and I can get him around 6 to 7, guys, that's a no-brainer for me. I'm all in. The next guy here, I've also got a lot of stock in. He's my, ride or, off to the sunset, game over type guy. Love the upside here. Let me explain why. The guy I'm talking about is Keon Coleman, number 5. Let me dive into it. Wide receiver 59, 133 overall. This guy's coming off rounds 8 to 9. Now, mind you, these guys, like I said, their ADP looks higher. So Keon Coleman looks like a 9 to 11. McConkey's like a 9 to 8 to 10 type thing. But they are coming off earlier because people are kind of aware of what I'm talking about. Even if they're coming off higher, there's still a discount. So number 5, Keon Coleman, 6'4", 210. He was a second-round pick, the first pick in the second round. His college numbers were decent, right? 11 touchdowns last year, 50 receptions. Not massive, huge numbers like some of the other receivers out of this draft. But he's, again, lands himself in a great situation. Last year, the reason I scouted out Sam Laporta is because I saw a void in targets. I saw an opportunity for him to be the 2 there, and sure enough, it worked out. You're looking at an opportunity for this guy to be the 1. Curtis Samuel sucks. He's absolute garbage. The guy is maybe a gadget player. He could play running back. He could do whatever. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife kind of guy who's years to wow us. We're not wowed. Doesn't have a 1,000-yard receiving season. Sucks. Not even a threat. Khalil Shakir, if he was the guy, they'd be like, hey, man, Khalil Shakir's our guy. We don't need anybody else, right? Maybe they would have brought in an old veteran, someone like a T. Higgins, and they would have just said, Khalil's our one, and then we'll just bring in a Higgins or something like that. No, they scouted out Keon Coleman, a top prospect out of this draft. Now, wide receiver 59 is amazing value, rounds 8 to 9. And listen, we got 240 targets freed up with Davis and Diggs gone. Who's going to catch the ball? Khalil Shakir? Really? Curtis Samuel? Chase Claypool? Like, who are these bottom feeders on this team? No, it's going to be Keon Coleman. Now, some people say, well, he's got separation issues, blah, blah, blah. You guys got issues because this guy is going into a situation where I can see clear as day that the wide receiver talent room sucks all around. And he looks like Michael Jordan of NFL, of football when he's on the field. Go watch his highlights. I know Tim, the ball guy, says, oh, well, highlights don't mean nothing. They do. Go watch them. All right. So Keon Coleman, you're getting a wide receiver 1, round 8. Sign me up. Does he have to be your wide receiver 1 on your team? No, not necessarily, but he's going to be. He's going to be a top 10 potential finisher. The way I look at it is this, man. Keon Coleman is an extremely discounted Stephon Diggs. Like, you were paying a first-round pick for Stephon Diggs the past 3 to 4 years. Why wouldn't you take Keon Coleman round 8? Because I haven't seen him play. I don't know. Boom. I'm telling you, like, you have that insight, that upside player. Like, dude, big time being slept on. Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman should be coming off in round 1. That's how much upside is there. These guys, I'm telling you right now, are going to outperform Justin Jefferson. You heard it right here, right now. Keon Coleman and Ladd McConkey have so much upside that they could easily outperform Justin Jefferson. I'll tell you why. You've got the wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert coming on to a bounce back year. Herbert's going to thrive this year. And Keon Coleman, you got the wide receiver 1 to Josh Allen, and you're getting them from round 8 to 9. That is crazy, man. I mean, Ladd's a little bit higher, getting him around 7, but you got Justin Jefferson coming off as a top 5 pick, and he's got Sam Darnold throwing him the ball. Dude, sign me up for McConkey and Coleman on all my rosters. I'm all in on these guys for the value and the quarterbacks. And you guys are telling me, I get Nico Collins round 2. Dude, he's got competition big time. These two don't. Sign me up. All right, number 6 here. Let's move on with the sleepers. This is a 2-part. And again, it's up to you guys to make the decision on who you want, because it's kind of a coin toss. It's Demario Douglas and Jalen Polk. Let's talk about these guys. Polk was a round 2 pick. Douglas last year, round 6 pick. Douglas already is established in this offense. He's looking good in training camp. Polk's a rookie. Who are they going to gravitate to? How is the quarterback situation going to look with May? What's going on? Because of the uncertainty here on the quarterback situation, which is ludicrous because it's so hypocritical. Because, yes, the Patriots are a new offense. First of all, Bill Belichick is gone. Good riddance. The guy's a creep. He's dating a 20-year-old. Like, what a creep. He's like 100. That's a whole other topic. I just did a video on that on my IG. Go check it out with the penguin looking like him. Anyway, go watch that. It went viral. 2.2 million views. Tons of celebrities dove in on the likes. It was crazy, man. Comments, shares. It was wild. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. Anyway, new offense. So the Patriots are a new team, new quarterback, but you got a rookie quarterback there. But you got Sam Darnold throwing to Jefferson. And maybe J.J. McCarthy. You got, Kyler Murray, who sucked all these years, throwing to Harrison. He's coming off round 2. You got so much uncertainty with other Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers, but he's coming off this injury. He's throwing up to Garrett Wilson coming off round 1. But you're getting these guys literally round 16, 17. They're coming off for free. Demario Douglas, you draft him with your last pick or rounds 14 to 16 in your draft. Dude, you could potentially be getting the wide receiver 1. So it's a 2-part, Polk and Douglas. I think they're both value. And here's the thing, right? You don't know who the one is necessarily. I think it might be Douglas. I'm leaning Douglas, but you don't know who the one is, but you're not spending anything. You don't know who the one is with CJ Stroud, and you're spending a second round pick or third round pick on these guys back to back. Dude, it's crazy. The Patriots wide receivers are completely being slept on. There is some upside here. And again, nobody really knows, but it's a big time opportunity for you to grab one of these guys with your last pick and get a potential wide receiver one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. There's so many wide receiver ones, Calvin Ridley, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman, Demario Douglas, that are coming off later. Romeo Doubs, which we'll get to in a second. Like, they're coming off later, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to grab the value. Like, but people are doing this earlier in the drafts. Earlier in the drafts, which I explained in the 16-round draft solution, you should be getting those guys that are guaranteed the position, that are high on the depth chart without any question marks. Does that make sense? Okay. So you're pounding on those workhorses in the early rounds, taking your risks later, while everybody's taking their risks later, guessing at who the wide receiver one is rounds 2 to 5, while you're getting your security and everybody's getting, do you know what I'm saying, guys? Nobody's talking about this. Start thinking, guys. Don't just follow the ADP sheep herd. You will lose. Number 7 here is Trey Benson. Let's keep going here. RB 41, 132 overall round. He's slated as round 10 to 11, but he's coming off way earlier. He's coming off more like round 7 to 9, 12-person league. Let's talk about this. 6'1", 210 pounds, round 3 pick out of Florida. Great talent. He wasn't a huge workhorse in college. The guy, 14 touchdowns last year, under 1,000 yards, hasn't rushed 1,000 yards in college, but he is one of the top running back prospects out of college. Dude, this guy, and I think all running backs have been underrated. There's a ton of running backs this year that are going to go off. Blake Corum, Braylon Allen, potentially. Another guy we're going to talk to next here. But listen, Trey Benson, dude, like this guy, he's coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit. If you haven't got your ticket, grab your ticket. You have a chance to ask him questions. He's going to be on the show as well. Trey Benson, I love him. I'm all in. James Conner's coming off ahead of this guy, which is crazy. James Conner is done. He was dude, this is what blows my mind. I love it. I'm all over Trey Benson in drafts because you've got Conner, who was a backup for a washed up Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was simply a product. He sucked. He always sucked. He was a product of a good offense that had no stack boxes because Antonio Brown, the great receiving core, was spreading the field and Ben was just chucking it like crazy. And Le'Veon Bell found openings. That's it. It was like the defense was back the whole time, and Le'Veon Bell would, trot along and do his little dance and cut through holes and get a lot of passes on checkdowns. And as soon as he ended up on the Jets, Le'Veon Bell sucked. As I said, he was suck. I remember the year he went to the Jets, Le'Veon Bell, everyone was like, draft. I had a magazine that had Le'Veon Bell on the cover. I'm like, dude, Le'Veon Bell sucks. He was a product of the Steelers offense, and everyone waits to the first round, early second round pick on Le'Veon Bell. On the Jets, I told you to avoid. Now, why are we talking about this? Because Conner was Le'Veon Bell's backup. Conner is older. Conner is decent. He's not outstanding. Trey Benson's the one. Like, I don't know how else to say this to you. I draft a running back in the 3rd round. I'm looking for the future. I'm looking for the workhorse. Conner is not Saquon. James Conner is not Derrick Henry. James Conner is not CMC. James Conner is a backup who was in a position where he got a decent year last year. It wasn't even amazing. He had a good year a couple of years ago. He had 13 touchdowns. Everyone was drafting him high. I said, avoid Conner, and he busted. And now in comes Trey Benson. Sign me up for Benson. Fade Conner. You got yourself a big-time sleeper here. RB 41, top 10 upside. This is the RB1 in Arizona. I'm going to tell him that at the Fantasy Sports Summit and on the show when he comes on here, okay? Again, if you haven't gotten 16 rounds, grab it. I've linked it below. Use code SMASH to save. Next guy here, this is like a 235 overall. Number 8 is Kamani Vidal. He was a round 6 pick out of Troy. The guy was a workhorse in college. He's on the Chargers, if you guys don't know. RB 70. Okay, round 16 and up. This guy's just a stash. Now, I'm a little pissed off yesterday. I was at a $350 buy-in, the one I've been telling you about, this league I'm in. And I know all the sleepers, but there's certain players I have to have. There's certain players like I have to draft, right? So this guy's a sleeper stash, and I have to have him. But this one guy, he must have got 16 rounds or something because it's an online draft thing. And he took away all my guys, like all my sleepers. He took away Benson, he took away Corum, he took away Vidal, because he was drafting second. So I drafted certain guys that I had to have like come back around and like take these guys 2 to 3 rounds ahead of their ADP. I was losing it yesterday in this draft. Now, mind you, my team is still good. I'm very top heavy on running backs. So some of these sleeper running backs, if they're gone, it's like, okay, whatever. It pisses me off. And he took Kamani Vidal. Listen, they've got nobody else there. Gus Bus sucks. Let's be honest. Finally had his pinnacle year last year, a bunch of touchdowns, 13 or whatever touchdowns. That's why I like Derrick Henry so much, because if Gus Bus could have a decent season on the Ravens, imagine what Henry can do. Vidal, round 6 pick out of Troy, 297 attempts last year in college, 1,600 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, a ton of touchdowns, 14. He's 5'8", 215. The guy's strong, and he can catch the ball. Dude, I mean, the Chargers kind of knew what they did here. They kind of got some veterans in there to kind of like add depth to the position. And then they got Kamani Vidal, who could be the one there. Who knows? I mean, he could do nothing, but why not with a 14th to 16 round pick, stash him, and you potentially have the RB1 with the Chargers. I mean, he's completely underrated here. RB70. And dude, let's put it this way. I have no Gus Bus stock. J.K. Dobbins couldn't finish a game to save his life. So, dude, Kamani Vidal, I mean, why not? There's a late round guy for you, okay? Number 9, 2 big ones here for you. Again, hit the thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. Smash it, tap it, turn on the bell. Love to get your feedback here. Number 9 here, love the talent, is Romeo Doubs, wide receiver 54, and he's the wide receiver 1 on his team. Now, we got Jaden Reed and we got Watson coming off rounds earlier, and everyone's talking about Dontavian Wicks. Like, dude, why would you even draft Wicks? He's clearly the wide receiver 4 on this team. It's ludicrous. Unless Watson completely gets dismantled, Wicks steps up. Dude, the reason why I think Dobbs is the one, he was number 1 target guy on the team last year, 96 targets, number 1 in targets, and he was tied for receiving touchdowns with Reed, 8 apiece. Okay, now if you look at those playoff games, the 2 playoff games, he was the number 1. He had 12 targets, 10 receptions, 284 yards, some odd yardage. He was the guy. When push came to shove and it was playoff time, Jordan Love was looking Romeo Doubs' way, and Romeo Doubs looked good. Go back and look at the playoff games, okay? Romeo Doubs is the one on this team. Watson can't stay healthy. Now, they're coming out saying Watson has addressed the hamstring stuff, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. But, dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you guys right now, Dobbs is the best value, and he has the highest chance of being the wide receiver 1 on this team. He's sitting as wide receiver 54. Going back to the same thing I've been talking about, why are you spending a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick on your DJ Moores, your Keenan Allens, your Roma Duzzi's coming off later, but your Nico Collins and your Stephon Diggs and then Tank Dell right now? Dude, you're all guessing. If you're going to, and by the way, Jordan Love out attempted and out yardaged and out touchdowned CJ Stroud last year. Like, Love on paper is a better quarterback than CJ Stroud, right? So it's like, okay, well, maybe you're looking at the wide receivers, a little more talent, a little more spunk to like Dell and Diggs over a Dobbs. Sure. But you're getting Dobbs, you're getting the wide receiver 1 potentially later, like rounds 8 to 10, depending, right? He's listed at 10 to 11, but I'd always bump him up a round or 2 if you really want a player, because they're going to get taken off, right? So if you want to play wide receiver roulette, play it with Dobbs, play it with Reed, play it with Watson, play it with some of these other guys later, right? DeMario Douglas, right? Don't play it in the early rounds, guys. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. One of those 3 players could go off. You don't know which one. Maybe it's a Nico season. Maybe Nico has 3 touchdowns one game and doesn't do anything for 3 weeks because it's the Diggs show. Maybe Dell emerges as the one. I think Dell could be the one. So nobody knows. So don't take those chances early. The last guy here, you're going to love it here. Before I get into it, guys, again, last thing, smash your tap and slide, hit the thumbs up, turn on the bell. Let me know what you guys think. This is Common Sense Corner, guys. This is not your cookie cutter channel. If you want to be light years ahead of the sheep, grab 16 rounds, use code smash or save, drop a comment below. I'm going to try to get back to as many comments as I can, and join the Patreon group. We got a Patreon group where you get direct access to me. We're going to do waiver wires, exclusive videos, join the fantasy front lines. I've also linked that below. And if you want to book a call with me, direct access below as well. You get direct access to the counselor. You can book your call, and you can schedule it, and we can call, and we'll get you set up for your drafts this year. Whatever you guys want to talk about fantasy-wise, okay? No dating. I could do dating advice, maybe, but let's focus on fantasy football, okay, guys? So book your call. Last guy here, I got him as my tight end 2. All my rosters is Ben Sinnott. Love him. 199 overall. Love him. Round 16. This guy is late. Now, some people saying, well, Ertz is there. I'm not concerned about Ertz. I'm loving, I just did a video on him. Go check my IG out. Dude, this guy's a monster. Round 2 pick out of Kansas State. Ben Sinnott, tight end 24 right now, 199 overall. Like I said, major sleeper here. And we got Jaden Daniels with a receiving core that I'm not really sold on. Now, maybe Eckler gets some check downs. Maybe, Terry McLaurin gets a boost, which I think is he could. But here's to wow me, guys, and I'm not wowed. That could be a big part of his quarterback play. In comes this tight end that was drafted with high draft capital in a great situation where the receiving core isn't outstanding. You got Jaden Daniels. Oh, he's a good player, man. There's a sleeper for you at quarterback, but only as a backup quarterback. I like to get my ace quarterback and then back him up. But anyways, Ben Sinnott, and now they're calling him Sinnott. Like if you watch the highlight, they're calling him Ben Sinnott, I think. It's Sinnott, Sinnott. I hate when they mispronounce names, like Bijan. But anyways, it's Bijan, not Bijan, because Bi as in bi-weekly, Jan as in ran, Bijan. Anyways, it's ridiculous. So Ben Sinnott, guys, to round out the top 10 here, love the talent, love the opportunity, and you're not paying huge capital to get him. And he's got so much upside. Could be this year's Sam Laporta. If you guys want to know who my Sam Laporta is for this year, exactly who I got on all my rosters, grab 60 rounds, use code SMASH join Patreon, guys. And yeah, that's top 10 fantasy football sleepers 2024. I mean, there was a lot to talk about here, a lot to unpack, but these guys are in great positions. And there's more. There's a ton more sleepers that I love. If you want them all, grab 16 rounds, guys. I'm rolling out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, line mentality, guys. When you guys are drafting, aim high in the depth chart. Find the value in mid to late rounds. Those guys are going to be your league winners. I'm telling you guys right now. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope you guys have a great day. And subscribe, thumbs up, drop a sleeper below that you absolutely love. All right, guys. Lion mentality. Stay glued to the channel. Content coming to you every morning, 7 a.m. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm out.